And actually, one thing that I kind of realized when I was in Parliament on Thursday is that it's so much that I don't care what you think as long as it's about me. Because even when people were doing their speeches, at one point, I think it was when Kushler was doing her speech, I heard him yell, "Oh, what about the bill? Speak about the bill." Because that's all you could tell he was getting irritated. So with Hannah, not centering the corridor around him and his bill, it's so obvious that it was irking him. He just wants to be, because that's the thing is he just wants us to keep talking about him, keep him relevant, keep him kind of, oh, look at me doing all this stuff. When really, I think it's one of those things of like the more we start to ignore him, but obviously letting people know what's going on. We can talk about what happens without necessarily having to, I guess, amplify it and make it more about him. I think is kind of the thing that I'm really starting to feel like is probably something we should start thinking about doing, because it's just,
especially as we close into the election, eh?
yeah, exactly. We want to be amplifying because that's the thing is so from a psychological perspective, repetition creates familiarity, and from a psychological perspective, we view things we are familiar with more positive feelings. So that's why, during like even the election that we had last time, the number of billboards that were national versus all the other ones, by doing that, you're just creating these little pockets of noticing, and then, that does have psychological effects on people. They've proven it through research time and time again in psychology. So like I think that's where, amplifying new names, better voices, voices that are more broad is kind of maybe what we should start trying to do to counteract some of this, I think.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. I think people who the big guns that clearly watch a really awesome show and nominated us for an award should be listening to that and maybe stop platforming him, because it'll piss him off.
Yeah.
Just a thought. I think you made a good point there. I think it's the Trump effect as well. The reason that Trump did so well is because we thought it was funny. Well, the media thought it was funny. They didn't think he was going to win, and they platformed him because he just said the most absurd shit, and it got him elected. So it's probably a good point that the more that we talk about it, the more we platform him, even if he's doing crazy shit like calling doctors Muppets and whining healthcare workers. Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's like
Something to
is
start
it
thinking
Beetlejuice,
about.
right? Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Speak his name and he'll appear.